nothing is more fun than flopping the nuts in a 3-bet pot when your opponent has trips and they are drawing close to dead. How do you get all the money in though? Let's see how Andrew Neeme does it today.
I want to go stay in Austin.
Yeah.
Like by the, is it called the Domain? The Domain.
The Domain, yeah.
Yeah, I want to be out there.
A lot of good restaurants and stuff.
Yes. That's where I first discovered Velvet Taco.
Ooh,
So
me and my girl
good.
love fucking.
I didn't know it was like a chain. Like,
Yeah.
I had no idea.
They're everywhere now.
Yeah, I actually passed one on my way here in Waco. I was like, oh.
On the way back home.
Queens for Mr. Neeme.
Downtown.
What do you get?
Downtown is a little different.
And Cairo wakes up with crabs.
Like the fried shrimp
Ooh,
one.
it's Shy with the sailboats.
I'm addicted
Baja
to the
3
shrimp.
pocket pairs here.
Yeah, that's the
Looking
other
to
one.
flop a set.
really good.
And
That's
whatever
really
one
good.
is like, whatever one is not real meat, it's like a Indian flair.
Cairo's
style
gonna
one.
lay down his
It's like
crabs.
tofu,
Get rid of
fried
those
shrimp.
crabs.
So
It's good.
I didn't. I
That's me.
I spin
Incredible
it.
sauce on it.
Just you spin it. If it points to the dealer, the money goes in. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I tried to
And
be
Like
T1000
randomizing.
says, I don't need a
But
pocket
with a
pair. I got
poker
10-7 suited.
I like it.
Oh, I forgot my coin. You remember my
In
coin?
this episode of Weekly Poker Hand, we are playing 5, 10, 20 at the Lodge. Kiro limps out of his roughly $4,500 effective stack with pocket 3s from early position. Goob in the cutoff calls with ace-8 offsuit. I would definitely recommend folding or raising the ace-8 offsuit because usually this hand flops top pair no kicker or middle pair good kicker, and a junky pair is really not what you want when you're playing very multi-way with deep stacks. He calls though. T1000 on the button calls with the 10-7 of clubs. I like that. And then Andrew Neeme in the big blind makes it $175 with pocket queens. Good, solid poker. Shy in the straddle calls with the pocket 4s, which I actually think is a fine play if you do not expect to get re-raised very often at all, and I think you probably should not expect to get re-raised all that often, so you're going to be able to see the flop and try to flop a set. Kiro gets out of the way with the pocket 3s. I definitely would call and try to flop a set here. Goob gets out of the way, and T1000 calls with the 10-7 of clubs, which seems reasonable closing the action. A lot of pre-flop action. Let's go to the flop.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you were there. You were there the second
You
day.
commentated on
Yeah.
it.
There's a boat for Andrew Neeme.
It's like
And
in
trips for
Flipping the
T1000.
coin is just so much easier.
Ouch.
Less dramatic though.
It's less dramatic.
Andrew, not even going to slow play this. Just bet small. Going to start building right away. Shy's in there. T1000 thinks he's golden.
Yes.
In position with the trip.
The flop is a dream for Andrew. It comes queen 10-10. 2 hearts. He has the second nuts with the full house. Andrew, continuation bet small. This is a spot where I definitely think you want to make a small continuation bet, even though you have the board completely crushed, because it's very easy for your opponents to have high cards. And high cards either have a straight draw, a pair, a flush draw, 3 of a kind, or something like that. So I think a small bet is excellent. And that is what Andrew does, 150 bucks. Shy with the pocket 4s and the straddle calls. I would definitely just ditch this immediately because Andrew probably has something. And T1000 could easily be sitting here with all sorts of high cards. So I think the 4s just needs to get out of the way. T1000 then, sitting there with trips. Let's see what he does.
But with 5% equity.
Wow.
Could be one of our largest hands of the night, and perhaps the TKO jerky hand of the night as he raises the 450.
T1000 definitely needs to raise. He has the best hand almost every time. Not this time, but almost every time. And he makes it 450 bucks. I like that play. I think this is a very good option, although I might go a little bit bigger purely because the pot's already quite big. And I think if you make it just a little bit bigger, you can get Andrew stack in far easier on the turn and the river when he does have a hand like pocket aces, pocket kings, etc. I get that you don't really want to let him fold a hand like ace king, and maybe that's the point of going 450, which is a very, very tiny raise in relation to the pot. But I do think in general, I'm going to want to go just a little bit larger in the spot. He goes to 450. Let's see what Andrew now does with his super nuts.
What does Andrew do here?
Nothing but a call.
And let's see if Shy continues to come along. He does not, so it's heads
When
up.
you're out of position with a very strong hand, you very often do want to put in a raise or re-raise, because if you just call quite often on the turn, especially if it's a scary turn for whatever your opponent has, it's just going to go check, check, and then you're going to bet on the river and hopefully get paid off, but you're not going to get your whole stack in. That said, this is a spot where Andrew is not vulnerable to being outdrawn at all, so he doesn't care if he gets free cards. And also, if a turn and river bet goes in, he'll be able to stack his opponent. So I get the idea of slow playing in this spot, and I would have slow played in this spot, especially with Shy in the middle, who could easily call 300 more with a hand like King Jack and then make a straight and put all his money in. But you do have to be careful in this spot. If stacks were much deeper, or if you thought T1000 would not bluff all that often on the turn and river, then I would definitely just want to go ahead and put in the raise immediately to try to stack a 10 or get a lot of money in against a high equity draw. That said, Andrew calls, Shy gets out of the way. Let's head to the turn.
T1000 and Andrew Neeme. And T1000 dead to the 10 of spades.
Yeah. T1000 likely to fire here again. And it's time for a check raise for Andrew once the bet comes out for T1000. A lot of river cards could kill some action with the double flush draw, straight draws on board, etc. Once T1000 fires twice, pretty likely or possible that he does indeed have a 10. Andrew in the driver's seat as the bet comes in, and it's time to build and charge.
Looks to be, I think he put a yellow chip out there. Looks to be maybe a pot-sized bet. Let's see.
Yeah, graphics
No, it
say
was-
700.
Yeah, 700.
Like a small raise here from Andrew. Setting the tone, leading up for that river jam, but he just makes the call.
To the river we go. T1000 looking for the 10 of spades, and that's it.
The turn is the 8 of diamonds. The Jack-9 gets there, but not a whole lot else. Andrew checks, as he definitely should, with his entire range in the spot. And then T1000 continues going for the value bet, just to try to get value from aces, kings, ace-queen, king-queen, etc. He goes 700. This is another spot where you do have to be concerned that you're not going to get all your money in on the river if you are Andrew, if you do check call. The problem, though, again, is that it's really hard for T1000 to have much of anything. And if he has a 10, you're probably going to stack him on the river anyway. And if he does have a draw, sometimes he's going to get there and feel inclined to shove the river for value. And sometimes he's going to be sitting there on the river with a hand like King Jack and miss, and then decide to bluff. So I love calling in the spot. That's exactly what Andrew does. Let's go to the river.
Does not come.
Check.
And
Front door.
Andrew checks again.
Front door hearts come in. A lot of players would check behind, although T1000, not your average player.
What a check from Andrew.
The river is the 5 of hearts. Pretty rough card for T1000 because he now loses to the flushes. Andrew checks, as he definitely should. What I want to know is, do you think in the spot T1000 should just check it back on the river? Should he bet small, like 1,500? Or should he put Andrew all in for 3,400? Take a second, think about it. Let me know what you would do in the comment section down below. Don't be results oriented. Be honest. Click the like button, click the subscribe button. I appreciate it. And then we'll find out what T1000 does.
I mean, once you just flat turn, you have to just check this river no matter what. Playing it like he just has a naked queen, really. Perhaps front door hearts, but T1000 still going to go for some value, it looks like.
I think that this 5 of hearts is just bad enough to where you have to check it back on the river because T1000 could be behind a 10, right? Andrew could certainly have ace 10, king 10, maybe queen 10, maybe jack 10. Also, he could easily have a flush. And if he does have a hand like aces or kings, he may find a fold on the river if you make any river bet. I think the only river bet that makes sense is all in this spot, given they're only playing roughly 1 pot size bet deep. So I think this is a check back. Feels bad to make trips and not be able to get all your money in. But, you know, sometimes that's what you have to do. And this time it's actually going to work out amazingly well for him if he does decide to make the check.
The heart did come out there, so. T1000 just with trips.
Credit to Andrew. Still likely heading towards a full double up. No, once he makes these facially checks, it's over.
Check.
Done.
It's a good check. It's a good check.
It's done.
Wow.
It's the problem with just flatting turn right there.
After a bit of thought, T1000 realizes this is a really bad river card. He checks it back, and it's shown that he loses the pot, but he's also shown it could have been far worse. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you next time.